Warning. Although the following sketches contain certain odd numbers, you should not laugh. It's impolite.
I'm telling you, Throckmorton, with this super kablooey bowling ball, you and I, we're gonna win the Order of the Raccoon Bowling Tournament.
Yeah, well, Alfie, with that ball, it'll be a real cincharoo.
And the salesman told me this will knock down everything in sight. This ball is one of a kind.
You know, Ralph, I'm almost happy I have to visit my mother for the weekend.
I don't know what you're so worried about, Allie. Throckmorton and I are just going to do a few practice swings. Then we're going to go down the bowling alley and destroy some pins. And that'll be that.
Every time I go away for a few days, I come back to an apartment that looks like a war zone. You boys try and behave yourselves. I'll be back on Monday.
Can you believe her? Allie, one of these days I'm going to...
Hey, Alfie, seeing as she's gone, why don't we practice our old former Rudy?
Hey, great idea, Throckmorton. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, I figured that they were kind of wet.
Throckmorton, I'm going to strike you.
No, please, spare me.
Okay, here we go. 1 ball, 10 pins. Here we go.
All right, Alfie, without having
Alfie!
Oh, boy, really good form there, Alfie. Whoa, real classic move there. Hey, set him up in the next apartment. Boy, who would have thought that underneath all that butterfat was so much raw power? Oh, and now there's a sign that says, "This is not an elevator."
I didn't do that! The bowling ball did that!
No.
And what am I gonna do, Throckmorton? Allie's gonna kill me!
I don't really know, Alfie. I guess you gotta figure out some way to, fill up that hole with bricks and,
But how am I gonna do that?
Well, I don't really know. I know what. We're gonna measure a brick, and we'll figure out how many bricks will go in a hole. You know, like, hey, Dr. Wilberforce, how many bricks will it take to fill this area? Well, I don't really know, Worthington. Well, why don't we multiply the length times the width and find out?
Cut that out, Throckmorton! If we do that, that'll only give us a very rough estimate. These bricks are expensive, and I don't want to have to buy more bricks than I need.
Hey, well, that's why we need a plan. That's it. Yeah, all we need now is a pen and paper. And why don't we maestro police?
Over here. Hey,
Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, on your way back to the desk, would you bring me a big turkey sandwich, please?
bang, zoom to the moon, Throckmorton! Hey, Throckmorton, aren't you done with that drawing yet? You've been at it for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Hold your horses. Here we go. In Viola, we have a drawing of an irregular shaped hole filled with units commonly known as bricks.
Throckmorton, you're a genius.
Oh, yeah, but it was your genius that inspired this plan in the first place.
So, how many bricks do I need, huh?
Let's see, according to this drawing here, we need 98 bricks to fill the hole.
But how did you do that? You didn't multiply the length times the width or nothing.
If I'd done that, we would have had more bricks than you could shake a trowel at.
You see? You listen to me, Throckmorton. That's what friends are for. Now, according to your chart, the hole on this wall is 19 bricks high by 7 bricks wide at its widest point. So let me see, 19 times 7, we can figure it out this way. 20 times 7 is 140. Minus 1 7, that would make it 19 sevens. 20 times 7, 140. Minus 7, 133. That's how many bricks we would have had to have bought if we would have thought of this as a rectangle. A little effort went a long way. We only need 98 brickaroos.
Yeah, that little effort is known as thinking. And that's how I did it. I just added them up.
Yeah, but how'd you do it so quick?
Oh, it was simple. I just looked for tens.
Huh? I don't see any tens.
Oh, yeah, sure. Here you go. Here's a 10. Here's 5 and 5, and it's 1 10. And we got a 4 and a 6. That's another 10. Oh, look at here. Another 4 and another 6. That's another 10. And down here, we got a 6 and a 4. One more 10. And another 6 and a 4. And, oh, look at here. We got a 2 and a 3. That makes a 5, which we can add on to this 5 down here for another 10. So, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tens. 6 times 10, that's 60. And then we got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sevens. 5 times 7, that's 35. And oh, look at right down here. We got this lonely little 3 there. And we put the 3 there. And we got 8 and 9, and a grand total of 98. Alfie, there's a song in this. I add 'em up for you. You make a sandwich for me.
Throgmorton, cut that out! Hey, you know what, Throgmorton, you're right. 133, take away 98 is 35. At a buck a brick, you just saved me 35 bucks.
I subtract them for you. You make a sandwich for me.
Throgmorton, now cut that out. We gotta hurry up and fix the hole in the wall. Allie! Whoa! Whoa! Come.
Alf, I forgot my... What is this?
That's a hole.
Yeah, it's a hole. And what is a hole?
Nothing.
Right. And if you think I'm going to stand around talking about nothing, you're crazy.
Allie, I know that you think that you know that I know why there's a hole in our wall. But if you think that you know that I don't know, Throgmorton, I'm coming!
This just in. To find the approximate area of any irregular shape, do what the people in that sketch just did. Film at 11.
Pamela Hepburn is a licensed tugboat captain who works out of the New York harbor.
A tugboat is really an enclosed engine. Often it tows things that don't have their own engines. My tugboat, the H.J. Sheridan, usually tows barges. A barge is a floating steel platform that can transport just about anything. Most of our work comes from builders, whose barges transport large machinery like cranes and tractors. By using the waterways, we can tow things from New York Harbor out to Long Island Sound, or we can travel as far as Massachusetts or even Virginia. An important part of my job is navigation, knowing where we are and steering the boat on a safe course from one place to another. A lot of people don't realize this, but math is important in boating. It's a very important aspect of boating because that's how we determine where we are. And in a boat, you can't see what you're going over underwater. And there's a lot of parts of underwater that the boat doesn't want to be anywhere near because it's too shallow. Now, to always stay in the proper place, we use mathematics. In fact, it's a very necessary tool of the trade. To work on the chart, we have certain tools. There's a book that has tide and current tables and distances. And these are parallels. These are dividers. I'll show you how to use those. The parallels we use to go parallel to our course we've determined this course line from point A to point B. It's drawn in. I put the parallels right on the course line and run it up to the compass rose as carefully as I can to determine our course. Our course turns out to be east. A compass rose indicates north, south, east, and west on the chart. It is used with the boat's compass to determine a course at sea. And then with the dividers, we'll determine the distance. The frame of reference here is these numbers on the side of the chart. This represents 5 miles. We have 5 miles now on the dividers. This is therefore 5 miles can be measured anywhere on the chart once we've gotten it off the side of the chart. Now I'll measure the distance from point A to B. Put 1 point on point A, and then on the course line itself, and run the dividers up the course line. This is walking them up the course line. 4, 5, plus, squeeze them in to make them a little smaller. Go back to the reference, 3.5. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 3.5 is 28.5 miles. Thus we figured our distance from point A to B. This job is terrific. It's fun, and it's very interesting, and it makes you feel good. You're always moving. Learning navigation is a skill that I'm quite proud of, and you feel like you can do anything or go anywhere with the boat.
All right. I'd like your honest opinion. Do you like my tie or do you like my tie?
No.
Honestly? Well, I'll tell you
Lie
what.
a little.
I'll tell you what. I'll lie a little. I'll give you $1 to buy a new one.
Oh, that's too
No,
much.
I can't. Borrow tie.
Oh, so's the dollar.
Okay, let's try it.
Okay, you want to? I'll show you something interesting with this, though. With the dollar bill, if you can, double your money, that's the only safe way to do it, of course. But I'll show you something that as we make the dollar bill like this, we'll turn it and fold it and fold it like this, and then I'll place the dollar bill down into my hand just like that. And as I do so, watch here.
Oh!
See
How'd
that?
you do that?
Rather well, I thought.
Oh,
Now, Chris, I want you to pick up those 10 coins.
Let me add them.
Pick up the 10 coins and mix them up in your hand. Shake them up and throw them down so we have a random number of heads and tails.
Baby.
There you go. Okay, now, we have them down here. Now, Louisa, this is what I'm going to ask you to do.
Okay.
I want you to turn over these coins 2 at a time and mix them up so I don't know how many of heads and how many of tails there are.
All right.
It's important. Then I want you to put your hand on one of the coins so that I can't see what it is.
Okay.
I'll turn away, turn them over 2 at a time.
So just mix them up, all right?
Yes, mix them up.
Time. Here
This
we
is
go.
very good at mixing things up.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I
One
do.
job.
I like to mix you up.
Okay. Now, have you done that?
Yes. Okay.
Now cover one of the coins.
All right.
Okay.
I'm covering
Now
one.
you've done that.
Yes.
Now, I want you to just concentrate. Did you happen to notice what was under there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did. All right.
Mhm.
Now just concentrate on it if you would, please. You've turned them over.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
Now,
I'm
what we're going to do is say that there is a tail underneath there.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. It's a tail.
Bravo!
Oh, wow. That ESP that you...
No, it really isn't. It's it's a concept or a principle called parity. And I'll explain to you what happened. When you threw the coins out, I noticed how many heads there were. And I counted and saw that there were 3 originally, which is an odd number.
Correct.
You see, this has to do with odd or even. In this particular case, when you turn over any 2 of these, it will always remain an odd number of heads. For instance, if you were to turn over 2 of those that were tails, it still leaves an odd number of heads.
course.
If you were to turn over 1 head and 1 tail, it still leaves an odd number of heads. Therefore, when you cover one that is a tail, I see that there's still an odd number of heads. If you had covered one that was a head, it's now even. Therefore, I know under your hand is a head. And that's how it's done. You see, that's
yes.
mathematics.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mrs. Blackstone, what? The rabbit? You changed into a pigeon? What happened? Well, let's throw in the coat. Oh, my God. Here, let me. Hurry!
Stop this. Get excited. Hey, Chris, let's try this. It's a great party trick.
There's a lot of time going around. The time for lunch, the time for school, but the coolest time going around is the multiplication. Take a net, we'll show you where it fits. Not the brand, not the band. There's no other product quite like this. 3 times 2 makes 6. It's the sign of the time. Es el símbolo de los tiempos. When you're going to multiply, just use the symbol X. Es el símbolo de los tiempos. When you're adding numbers and they're all the same, you take a shortcut, multiply. Count the number of the numbers you want to gain. That's your multiplier. It's the sign of the time. Es el símbolo de los tiempos. When you're going to multiply, just use the symbol X. Es el símbolo de los tiempos. There's a multiplication table everyone should know by heart. From 0 times 0 to 9 times 9, that's the place to start. Es el símbolo de los tiempos. We know 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. But you can do a whole lot more with X, the sign of the time. Es el símbolo de los tiempos. 3 times 4 or 6 times 2 equals 1 times 12. Figure out the way it works and try it for yourself. Es el símbolo de los tiempos. The same is true of 4 times 5, which equals 2 times 10. 5 times 6, 15 times 2 equal each other again. Es el símbolo de los tiempos. You could keep on going as long as you're inclined. With different combinations, just use the sign of the time. Es el símbolo de los tiempos. 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 ¡Eso! ¡Pongan el símbolo de los tiempos! ¡Ahí le va!
Mathman, your mission is to eat only odd numbers. When you encounter a number, you will have until the count of 3 to make your decision. And beware the insidious Mr. Glitch. He will eat you if you are wrong.
Mathman, 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 Mathman. Looks odd. Mathman, Mathman, Mathman. Odd numbers. Mathman, Mathman. No, even. Yeah! Mathman, Mathman, Mathman. Odd numbers, Mathman, 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 Mathman. Fonder, Fonder. Oh. Mathman, 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 Mathman. Ah, break them out. Mathman, Mathman.
Oh boy, did I enjoy that. I'm rotten.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names have been made up, but the problems are real.
It was Thursday, 2:43 p.m., and it was over 110 degrees in Sri Lanka. Luckily, we were working Mathnet out of Los Angeles. My partner is George Franklin. The boss is Thad Green, chief of detectives. My name is Monday. I'm a mathematician. We'd been working on the problem of the missing baseball and had gone down one blind alley after another. Still no solutions. Just have to keep at it. We decided to look at the last scene from yesterday's show to see if there was anything we had missed.
Notice something strange, George?
Yeah. All the numbers on this side of the street are even, and 727's an odd number. No problem. Just means the place we're looking for is on the other side of the street.
Have you looked on the other side of the street, George? There are no odd-numbered houses on Bluff Drive. The address is a phony. We're still working on it, Howie.
Can I do anything to help?
Not yet, son, but if we think of something, we'll call you.
My dad will be home tomorrow.
We know, Howie. We're doing everything we can.
I hope it's enough.
Son?
If I don't get that baseball back, he'll tar and feather me.
Uh-huh.
He'll put me in the stocks.
We're trying.
Probably run me out of town on a rail.
Goodbye, Howie. Did you want to make on Clarence Sampson?
Uh-huh. It's amazing what we can do with these computers, isn't it, Kate? I remember when we had to do it by hand. It took weeks. He goes by a lot of aliases. Charles Charlie Sampson, alias Carl Sampson, that's with a C, alias William Howard Taft Sampson.
What have you got on him?
Spent 13 years in state prison for robbery. Paroled 6 months ago.
Uh-huh. What kind of robbery?
Gold bars. They took 10 of them in 1975. Know what they were worth?
Nope.
Well, according to this, a gold bar weighs 330 ounces.
Uh-huh.
And gold was worth $160 an ounce back then.
Let's see. 330 is about 1/3 of 1,000. 1/3 of 160 is 53. So each gold bar was worth $53,000.
So 10 bars at $53,000 each, he got away with more than $500,000. Probably worth a lot more today. The gold bars, I mean.
Uh-huh. And they never found the gold?
Nope. You know how he did it? Swiped the gold, I mean?
How?
Took it out of the top of Fort Knox. You know, Kentucky, the bluegrass state.
Out of the top. How did he do that?
Helicopter.
We needed more information. I asked Jenny to check the specs on the XY313. George was checking some house moving companies to get an approximate weight on Mrs. McGregor's house.
Thank you very much, sir. I've got some info on the XY313. It's got a range of 600 miles.
It's a lot of range.
How's that?
Look. The missing baseball was here in Burbank.
You mean the house?
Yes, but as George says,
You got the house, you got the ball. Uh-huh. Go on.
Look, on this map, 1 inch equals 20 miles. So for 600 miles, we would measure 30 inches, which would take us all the way up to Oregon.
So the house could be almost anywhere.
But the helicopter's range is 600 miles. It would have to fly back to base after dropping off the house, so it couldn't have flown more than 300 miles each way. But that would still take us all the way up to here.
That's still too much ground to cover.
Jenny, Kate, got an approximate weight on the house. The moving company said it weighs about 7 tons.
14,000 pounds.
The XY313 can handle that. It could carry up to 16,000 pounds. But the 600-mile circle is still too big.
Wait, we're forgetting something.
I know, Martha told me. Green peppers for the meatloaf. You sure you can't come, Jenny?
Positive.
Kate?
Uh-uh.
You guys ever had Martha's meatloaf?
Yep. What we're forgetting is that the helicopter was carrying a house. Now, that extra weight would cut the range back even further. But how much?
Yes, sir, me again. I was wondering if there was any way you can tell me how far the helicopter flew. You can? Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, I see. Thank you.
Got something?
Blackboard. He said he refueled the tank this morning. It used 2,400 pounds of fuel. At top speed, it burns about 4,800 pounds per hour.
2,400 divided by 4,800 equals 1/2. That means it was up in the air about half an hour.
Right.
What kind of speed does it make?
The XY313 has a top speed of 160 miles per hour.
So in a half an hour, it would have flown half that far, or 80 miles.
He flew someplace and returned to the base.
That's right. We take 80 divided by 2, and we get a radius of 40 miles.
We can cover that. 40 miles, I mean.
Let's take a look at that other map. On this map, 1 inch equals 5 miles. So 8 inches equals 40 miles. This is the helicopter base, so the house could have been dropped anywhere within this circle.
But look, 20% of that circle is Pacific Ocean. We can eliminate that area.
Uh-huh.
They wouldn't have put it there.
Right.
It would sink.
All we have to do is concentrate our efforts in this area, but it's still going to take time, and we need that baseball by tomorrow.
Wait a minute, we're forgetting something else. A helicopter would make a lot of noise carrying a house. Let's question some of the residents in the area and see if they've heard anything.
That's going to take time.
Got an idea. Hello, Howie? No, it's not your father. I asked Howie and his friends to ask people all over the area if they heard or saw a helicopter on the night the house was snatched. They began to call in with their reports.
Uh-huh. And no one saw anything, but a couple of people thought they heard a chopper. Uh-huh. What's that? Nothing unusual except what? Television reception on the fritz. Thanks, Howie.
Anything, Kate?
Some people complaining about their television reception that night.
Funny, so was the guy we talked to.
What guy?
The guy in Tuesday's episode, remember? He complained about his TV reception, too.
Mathnet Monday. Hello, Nell. Find out anything? Some complaints? TV reception. Are you in the Whitechapel area? Thanks. George. Those complaints are all coming from the same direction.
Mathnet. Yes, Mr. Bicker. More complaints about TV reception? What area? Thanks. Same direction, but further southeast.
And it must have been the helicopter that was causing that interference. Look, it's giving us an arrow. The house has to be somewhere along this line. What we've got to figure out is where that interference stopped. Call Howie.
George called Howie and told him to follow the arrow until he ran out of interference complaints. I checked the map.
I'll get it. It's probably Martha. Sure you can't come, Kate? She'll be awful disappointed. Mathnet. Oh, hi, Howie. I thought you were my wife. Really? The complaint stopped at Scenario Circle? Nothing beyond that point? Terrific, Howie. The house has got to be here.
We've got our man, George. Let's roll.
Now, what are we going to do with all these shirts?
I'll take care of that.
But still, it does contain 200 calories.
Does that like gross you out?
Mondo.
Wonder if we could ask you a few questions, sir.
The answer to your question is no.
Yes, sir. We're looking for a missing baseball.
You have an unusual occupation.
100% of Square One TV is a production of the Children's Television Workshop.